Hi, Salam Alaikum. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, this is Wheels Within Wheels, Part 4. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about pressure, but the primary reason for this continuation of this mini series, so to speak, is to address a point that was presented to me by a person. They was inquiring about the angel key and how it works. And how do you know when you've followed the process correctly and you got the correct results? And so this particular series, mini-series, if you will, is to address that. So this is the final page in this mini-series, and I'm going to make it very clear at the end because I've been doing things in each one. I've been changing things when we talk about the talents. One time I said it was this, next time I said it was that, next time I said it was that, it's the other. So now we're going to bring it home because that's going to address that question because that's a very important question that person asked me. I struggled with it for quite some time when I started breaking the seals. How do you know when you got it right? So when we'll get to that very quickly. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of things about pressure. But again, the primary reason for this so-called mini-series, right, if you will, is to address that issue. But how do you know when you got it right? Because the process is first you have to have the key, understand the key. Then you have to map whatever it is, the verse or the chapter or the into it. And you have to make sure how you know it got it in correctly, how you fill in all the blanks. And then you do your analysis. See? But you have to know that you got it in there correctly. Because if you don't, your analysis is going to be wrong. And so we're going to address that. Have a little technical difficulties here. Okay. That was the plan. Because we knew we was going to have a struggle between the analytical mind and the spatial mind at the end of time. When I say the end of time, you have two phases in this universe. There's the contraction phase and the expansion phase. The expansion phase was initiated by what they refer to as the originator, which is us, right? And that's the expansion phase. That's when the Quran says the earth and heavens were one and we expanded them. See? Then you got the contraction phase. That's the closing of the universe. See? So the first God, right, he initiated the expansion, right? So it says that at the end, right, there will be two that will bring about the contraction phase. So that's where we are. So the contraction phase, in other words, the expansion phase when we laid out the heavens and earth, made the creation, stars and planets, all that stuff put out there. The contraction phase is right where we take and we basically, for lack of a better way, enjoy what we did in the expansion phase. 76 trillion years it took to expand everything, and now we're going to contraction phase. So, and that phase goes on and on endlessly. It never started, it never stopped. And that's hard for people to understand, but it's like a circle. Where's the beginning of it? Where's the end? It never started and it never stopped. It's going forever. So at the end, because that's the so-called creation phase, when we brought everything, it was just one being, as Quran said, it was one being, and all life came from it. So now everything is fully expanded, and now, right, now it's contracting. See, have a little technical difficulties here. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, and now it's contracting. See, everything's coming back. Like it says, we'll all eventually return back to Um, Allah, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Open widget. What's this mean here? You are not receiving enough video to maintain some visual experience buffering. Open widget. This kind of version is not optional. Okay. Or streaming. Okay, I'm not sure what that's. Okay, we'll have to see what happens. I have a little technical difficulties here, so we'll see how it turns out. So everything is coming back together. So at the end of this situation, right, we brought everything from us, starting from the most simplest microbes, right, more complex plant, fish life, reptile, animal life, right, and the most at the end, right, we bring the most complex being out altogether. We separate the analytical from the spatial, because you got two sides of the brain, and that's Dr. Yaqub and Dr. Shabazz. But now they're battling for who's going to dominate, who's going to control the universe, who's going to control the creation. That's the battle. We kept the spatial analytical side in check for 76 trillion years, but now it is exerting itself, and it wants power, it wants control. That's what you see. Dr. Yaqub, the analytical side, Dr. Shabazz, the spatial side, and they warring with each other. Who's going to dominate? See, we're going to go into a biological creation or a mechanical creation. Because the analytical side, they cannot live without us in a biological universe. They'd have to convert to a mechanical, cyborg and robotic. That's what you see, all computers, because they don't have creative ability. Okay, so enough of that. So that's what's happening here. Okay. Let's see. I have a little trouble with YouTube lately. I don't know if they're doing purposely or what, right? So we'll see. Again, this is the angel key here, right? Without this, you cannot unlock the scripture. Scriptures are locked, sealed, right? With this key. Without this key, you have no idea what the scripture is saying. You read a sealed version, which has power, because they've been able to use it, right? But it's not, it's like the difference between dynamite and atomic bomb. Okay, let's talk a little bit about pressure here. Now we have to understand, right, how pressure works. All of us in the pressure field, the pressure is equal everywhere. It's like you're in a room where it's heated. The heat is equal every place in that room. You're not going to find part of the room where it's going to be hot, another part cold. Heat's going to be the same in every place. That room is closed, right? And you're in that room, heat's going to be the same all over that room, right? Now, it depends on the people, how they're going to feel. Some people in good shape, it won't bother them as much. People in bad shape, they'll be sweating and carrying on. But still, no, that's them. That's their reaction to the heat. But heat remains the same for everybody. It's 90 degrees for everybody. Now, some people can handle 90 degrees, some people can't. That's on them. But the pressure remains the same. So we all get the same amount of energy. That's what this pressure field works. We all get the same amount of energy, because heat is energy. The same amount of energy, right? Okay. But when you try to force someone to go against their nature, that means that takes pressure to do that. That takes energy to do that. That means it costs you. So if we're all getting $1,000 a day, say we're all getting $1,000 a day, right? Okay, so now here you are, you're trying to force someone against their will, right? So how much energy you have to do that? Say, okay, I've got $200. I'm gonna use $200 worth of my energy to try to force this person, right? That's all you're gonna force that person to that degree. If you use 300, you're forced to a greater degree. If 400, if you use 500, if you use a whole 1,000, you're forced to 100% because you're using as much energy on them as they have themselves. So use 100%. See, line or something. It's put pressure on them. But that pressure, As long as you're pushing it down, your spring will stay down. But as soon as you let it go, it's going to come back up because you have to maintain that pressure on it. Same thing when you oppress the people, right? How much energy you have to impress? How much energy you have to oppress them? See, because you have to maintain it. Because once you stop, they're going to revert back. See, to their nature. Because to oppress them means you have to go against their nature. So they had this energy. They used energy to oppress us for 400 years. But it took energy to do that. They had as much energy as we had. But our energy, like I said, some people in good health, some people in bad health. Some people use energy for different reasons. If you use energy to maintain your health, right, that means you have energy for other things. But if you don't care about your health, then you got energy to do other things. See, so they ate pork and all that kind of stuff they was doing. So they didn't need much energy to maintain themselves. They used energy to control people. But we Lamborghini, so to speak, so it took a lot of energy to maintain ourselves. That's why I talk with me when I my energy deprivation. Because we've got the same amount of energy, but if you require right $900 worth of energy to maintain yourself every day, you only got $100 to work with because you got a better body, right? You got a Lamborghini body, so it takes a lot of energy to maintain it. But if you got a Volkswagen Beetle body, it only take $100 a day. You got $900 to do all things with. And that's the wisdom behind Yakub's creation. So they have to apply energy to him. So when what does that mean? That's the police force, for one. See? And they're so-called justices, all these things that keep us under control. But it takes energy to do that. It costs money. See, that's why they're going bankrupt right now, because they spend all this money, because they don't have enough energy now. Because remember, they have to maintain it. But it's costing them. See? It's costing them. So at some point in time, right, if they don't have enough, then the lion returns back to being a lion again. Because he's not going to stop. He still wants to be a lion, but he won't be a lion because you forced him. Because he knows if he acts like a lion, he's going to get zapped, electrocuted, or prodded, or whatever, beat. So that's what's keeping him from acting like a lion. But once you stop doing that, he's going to revert back to being a lion. So the original people they've been forced. They're given a master's mind, right? It's been forced on them. See, so now they're being weak because now they're going bankrupt. They're losing money. Right? I mean, they're going bankrupt. They're spending money like crazy. They're in debt and everything because they have enough pressure to hold you down. It's less and less, and they're going bankrupt trying to keep you down because as you're growing. Remember, as we're growing, as the lion grows, it's harder to press it. It's easy to press when he's a cub, but he gets bigger and bigger. It's harder. See, so you have to find other ways. Okay, oh, well, hey, don't let him have no more babies. See, because then you got to deal with that too. Abortion. See, yeah, abortion. Because remember you got to hold them down too. See, don't let them keep them in the cage. See, prisons. You see, don't keep them hungry. Don't let them get any strength, right? See, send your jobs over to overseas, get your industrial jobs, right, to China. Your intellectual jobs over to India. So keep you hungry, weak. All these are pressure techniques to keep you down. But it cost them, because look what happened. Now their adversaries are coming strong because they took and had to borrow money, and plus they made China strong. They made India strong, trying to oppress you. But it's cost them. You gotta understand that it's costing them. And so now they can afford it. See? So now, because your nature is returning. See? Your nature is returning to you. You see? Because they can't, your nature, it didn't go away. You still had it. It was just being oppressed. It was being held down. But if they can't hold down, start emerging, start coming out. See? And so now And so now all the enemies are closing in because they don't have enough energy to keep them back anymore because they're trying to hold you down. You get too much money to spend. So I got $1,000, right? Okay, what am I going to pay? Oh, I got to pay the rent. I got to pay electricity. I got to pay the gas. I got to pay, right, the phone bill. See, you got to understand that's what's happening. So I got to press these Negroes. Do I have enough money to do anymore? Because if I stop oppressing them, they're going to revert to themselves. If they do that, we're in trouble. Because those lions revert back being lions, we're in trouble. Because we got two different natures and they can't coexist. They have to oppress our nature because if we rise, their nature's oppressed. Because it's two different natures. Because we exercise our nature, it's against their nature. And if we exercise their nature, it's against our nature. We got two together. They cannot coexist because we're two different people. And it costs you to hold down. But the point is that, so other words, only choice they have, right, is to keep on trying to hold us down. But that means they're going to have enough energy to do anything else. They can't pay the electric bill. They can't pay the gas bill, right? That means they can't keep the Chinese off their ass. They can't keep the Russians off their ass because they got all this energy trying to hold us down. See? So the only option they got is to get rid of us. See? Get rid of them. We don't have to hold them down anymore. See, that's part of the programming, abortion, everything, to get rid of you. See, because, or change your nature. And you go look at it. This is what the Australians tried to do to the Aborigines there. They said that was their official program to change their nature. Or they would take and put their seed into the women, and then the light-skinned ones, they would take them away from the other ones and raise them up just like themselves. See, they were going to breed the Aboriginals, breed the Aboriginal out of the Aborigines. That was their program. It was a government-sponsored program. It's to breed their nature out of them. And they try to do that here with us also, with these demons. See, they breed your nature because they're not our people. See, so in other words, they knew they couldn't keep. So in other words, they'd have black people, but they'd be their black people. See, they had the same nature as them, so they didn't have to hold them down. You see them, they're all over the news. They talk just like them. Yeah, I'm down with America, man. I don't know them Negroes talking about, man, I love America. You know, we're going to fight for America. That's what Farrakhan, I mean, he's a demon himself. I don't want to go anywhere. If America get a war, we're going to fight for America. Because they don't have to hold them down. Because they got the same nature as them. They're black face. You got to understand what's going on with this thing. These demons are not your friends. They have the same nature as them, and their whole process is their whole idea is to keep you down or get rid of you. See? Because having you in the neighborhood and everything, that keeps, because they're putting pressure on you, because remember, they're thinking like the master thinks, so therefore they're putting pressure, because they're trying to get you to think the same way, convince you to think like master think. That means they're putting pressure on you also. To be other than yourself. Oh no, man, don't worry about master did. I mean, you don't do that. If someone do what they did to us, you take them down. Because if you don't, you encourage it. If somebody punch you in the face and you turn on the cheek, you invite them to be punched in the face again. See, you don't understand that verse. You better read that whole verse. When the preacher tell that verse about if somebody take the coat, give them another coat and all that kind of stuff, tell them to read the rest of it. Jesus was using reverse logic. He says, but by doing so, you keep cold. He wasn't doing it because he loved them. He says, by doing that, you keep it cold from their head. You're destroying them. See, he was using some advanced pressure understanding, which is too, because they don't tell you that part. They think, oh, I just love everybody. He didn't say love everybody to love them because he loved them. He says, be that way towards them because you keep them cold head to destroy them. He was doing it. So how does that work? See, when you understand pressure, you understand that. Because what happens is, right, if you take and give someone, if someone tries, in other words, you make $1,000, they make $1,000. That's the rule, the pressure rule, right? You make $1,000, they make $1,000, right? So they want your $1,000. So you give it to them. See? So what you've done is now they got $2,000. That $1,000 create $1,000 worth of negative energy for them. See, that's the wisdom behind that, doing that. But if you don't know what you're doing, you better not do that. See? That's the wisdom behind it. That's why he said, read the whole verse. He wasn't doing it because he loved them. He says, do it because you were destroying them by doing that. But see, that's the advanced pressure knowledge. So read it. Don't take my word for it. That's what the whole idea behind that. See, destroy your enemy by being nice to them. Give them what they want. Because that extra, they take it, they stealing it, then they stealing, it's creating this negative energy because that's what they're supposed to have. Because that's the mathematics behind it. And you're still gonna get you're gonna get $1,000 back from another direction. It'll come to you some other kind of way. It won't come to you money, come healing, or like you meet a better person, or something positive happens to you. See, it's gonna come. You're gonna get it. See, so it's going. The balance is going. Everything will balance. Hope you understand that idea. That's what it means about being good and all the friend your enemies. He says he didn't do it because you were saving them. Read the whole verse because you keep coals of fire upon their head. Don't tell you that part. See, so understand that it's taken. So now America's in trouble. Because they can't, they got the police, they said defund the police now. See, they're going against their own selves because they don't have enough energy, because thought is energy also. So it takes energy to think. That's why they're confused, because they don't have enough energy to handle all these different things. Well, the guy, man, he ain't got no electricity. Why? Because he have no money. He had enough money to pay his car bill, car note. He had enough money to pay his mortgage. He had enough money to pay his phone bill, but he have no money to pay his gas, his electric bill. See, so he don't have electricity. See, everything costs, brothers and sisters. When you understand that, you understand what's going on around you. Because that's why they're confused, because it takes energy to think. It's not just happens. So they're trying to hold us down. They're trying to hold the rest of the world down, right? See? And they don't have enough energy to do that. See? So something got to give. They're thinking, they get confused. They can't have enough energy to think properly then, right? If they think properly, right? They don't have enough energy to go and to keep this nation down and keep Iran down and, and keep blacks down and all this stuff. Because that's what the police force was originally. There was no such thing as a police force before slavery, to keep us down as part of the system. So now they're talking against themselves because they don't have enough energy, mental energy, to think positive for themselves. So if you have enough energy to think positive for yourself, you start making negative for yourself. So you start teaching your children themselves that they're devils and America's shit, and it's no good, and they call it critical race theory, that Caucasians are evil and all, because you understand they don't have enough energy to think positive about themselves anymore. See? And so they don't have, because they're trying to still hold us down, but they don't have the energy to hold us down like they did before. That's why they start losing, because every time we got stronger and stronger and stronger. So they start abort them. See? Abort them. Abort as many as you can. See? You gotta understand put all these pieces together, brothers and sisters. It all comes down to pressure. You gotta put all these pieces together, understand it all together. See, it's comprehensive. All the pieces, all of it. It's no exception. It's very simple in its conceptuality. See, it takes, you say, look at the world and say, okay, everybody's getting $1,000 a day, and so, and out of that you gotta breathe, right? You gotta eat, right? You gotta deal with other people, right? You gotta think. See, so how much money does it take? How much of it can I use for thinking? How much can I use for studying? See, some don't bother studying. How much I'm going to use to apply the 5 pillars of Islam? How much I'm going to use to learn the Injil? You decide how you're going to use that energy. You decide whether you want a shit farm or a diamond mine. It's your decision. See, because all mathematics, but that's where we have freedom of action, because it means that we can say 10 is either 2 plus 8 or 3 plus 7 or 1 plus 9, but we can't change it from being 10. That's the individuality that we have. So you decide how you're going to spend the energy that you have every day. You're going to go and exercise, or you're going to be around trying to control somebody. See? So therefore, now you're a controlling person, so now you lose control of yourself because it takes so much energy to control yourself. You understand? It takes energy for everything that you do. This whole reality takes energy. Everybody gets the same, everyone gets the same amount of energy every day. It's just how it's used. That's the wisdom, brothers and sisters. Once you understand that, you are God and you have control of your fate. See? I use my energy. I make sure I exercise every day. See? I make sure I slot every day. Now I can say, forget all that. I use my energy to make a lot of money. Then I'm sitting around here, heart condition, paying doctors, all these for drugs and stuff. But I got a lot of money. You see? But I got all these other issues too. So he said, billionaire there? Oh, well, I mean, he's a big. When you add it all up, it comes out the same amount of money you have. You add it all up. See? He got bad seed. So in other words, hey, he may not have no seed. He may not have any children. So that's the end of his whole line. But your line going off into forever. They took everything away from us, so what? So we produce better and better seed. See, if we produce weaker seed, how in the hell are we going to inherit the kingdom with the weakest seed we ever had? Because this is the best generation ever, because they took everything away from us, so therefore the only thing we had left was we produced better and better seed. So eventually we produce someone that would be wiser than them to bring down the whole kingdom. That's what Elijah Muhammad talked about itself. Everything bounces, brother and sister. They take this from me, it comes back to you another way. You take a little oil and try to press it, put it on water and try to press it down. It's going to come someplace else. No matter how you press it, it's going to come someplace else. Because that's the balance. So anybody try to push you down, you'll come someplace else. Once you understand that, then you don't fear it. That's one of the reasons why I became a contractor rather than an employee. Because I knew with a name like Raheem and all this BS going on here, I knew I'm not going to sit around here and be an employee and take all the crap. I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. I just want to be a politician. I'm not going to be on a job, be a politician. I'm just here to get paid. So I became a contractor. So I knew, hey, they don't like me. Something happened to me, I get a contract someplace else. And I was very successful because I didn't worry about it. Right? Because they come and say, hey, boom. See? So I was totally independent because I didn't take no BS. I did a job here. They don't want to keep me there. I just come someplace else. See, it's that fear. It says we only endure slavery for fear of death. They put that fear in you, and that fear makes you think that they can do things they cannot do. That's why Bob told David, do not worry about numbers. Oh, we're going to put all this pressure. No, they can't put any more pressure than there is in this room. You're in the room, the guy says, I'm going to heat you up. Think about it. You're in the room, and it's 9 degrees, and they're going to, man, we're going to heat you up to 110 degrees. How are they going to do that? Well, I heated up 110 degrees for themselves. They can't put any more pressure than they put on themselves. But if they can fool you, oh man, you're going to heat up 110 degrees. Oh, please don't do that. Don't heat up 110 degrees. See, because you don't know any better. So now they got you. So now you run around, do what they tell you to do, because you think they can do something they cannot do. Understand that, brother and sister. Know the truth, and truth will make you free. Understand it. Understand the pressure. So now America has to let you go. Because they don't have enough pressure for either let you go or kill you. Because you don't have enough energy left to keep you down. See? They don't have enough energy to keep enemies off their ass. They know they're going to war with China. They already anticipate they'll lose a war with China. They don't have enough energy to hold things back anymore. That's why they had 6,000 years. Now the pressure's too great. They don't have enough energy, right, to keep things under control anymore. So they got to decide, hey, man, man, we pay we going to pay the rent, man, but we don't have no electricity. Go pay electricity, man, we won't have a place to stay because we can't pay the rent. So the Bible says, the way the Bible says it is like this. It says it two ways that I'm aware of. Maybe say another way. It said it'd be like a 6-foot man with a 5-foot blanket on a cold night. He covers his head and his feet exposed. He covers his feet and his head exposed. Or like a man runs from a lion and run into a bear. These are all ideas. I'm telling you, these books are mathematical books, but they're trying to give you mathematical concepts. Like you reap what you sow, right? That's every action has an opposite reaction. Just another way of saying it. So understand that, brothers and sisters. See, that's what's going on around you. See, so they're confused. They start thinking against themselves. They have the energy to think positive anymore, and it's going to get worse. See, and we're growing, so we put more pressure on them as we're growing. Right? So that means it takes more pressure on the energy that they don't have. So how does that work out? That means boom, we're free, right? And they're broken. Hope you understand that. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. I'm planning to give an even more extensive talk on this, but this should be enough. But I mean, I'm gonna keep on bringing it home because they know the truth, and truth will make you free. You're free, brothers and sisters, but you don't know it. That's why you have to have a thorough knowledge of yourself. Because if you don't, then you'll be in here, you still be a prisoner in the hereafter. Because you still think people can control you. You're God. If Fry says you're God, that means nobody's controlling you. If you're God, nobody wants to control you. I mean, we don't. I mean, people do want to control you. Yet people, I mean, these guys here, right, on the Satan, they want to control you. But your brothers and sisters don't want to. We're trying to free you. And you fighting me on because you got their mind. I'm not asking you for anything. I haven't asked you for a dime. I won't tell you what to do. I'm just giving you something. I'm doing all this work. You think, oh, he just like doing this, right? I'm doing all this studying and work, right? To give you, right, yourself back. It's like, somebody took your money, I went and got it, and trying to give back to you. Said, man, what'd you give me that money for? I went and got your money, the money it took from you, and I'm trying to give it back to you, and you upset about it. The reason why you're upset, because you got their mind. That's why you're upset. And I got it, that's why it's a hard job, brothers and sisters. It's a hard job. But it's worth it, because you're my brothers and sisters. I love every one of you, just like, as you are. You do know better, you do better. I want you to change your nature. I'm not trying to change lions into bears. I just want you to be a stronger lion. That's all. That's what you should want to, right? Okay, now I'm talking about these talents. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this, right? I went to, because this was driven by a question when they asked me. I figured these talents would be the best way to do it. Now, I came with you several ways, right? And I said, well, this, and I came. I said, well, I didn't add this, and I said this. I asked a question, right? Because it was a process to get you to understand that you have to get this right. Because the person says, well, why do I know I got it right? And then you can't go outside and grab stuff. It's a process. If you're going to work with this angel key, right, you have to do it correctly, right? Or I mean, if you're going to be, you're going to go around you're going to take and be bomb disposal, and you know what you're doing, you're going to blow yourself up. See, we don't want to blow ourselves up. We got the ultimate weapon. We don't want to use it to blow ourselves up with. Okay. This is the first way I gave it to you. I gave it to you like this. I said, okay, right, here you got, Friday's 5 talents, right? I had Elijah and his talents, right? See, is this, what's going on here? Uh, let me see something here. It's like, why is it showing like that? Okay, try that one. Okay, and so forth. This is the first one I showed you, right? See, so those are familiar. Show it like this. I had Farrakhan. I said him like this in the situation, right? So let's move on. In other words, he had 5 talents, right? Not including the top 2 up here. They're blinking. I should have took that off. And hey, Elijah had 2 talents. See, Friday had 5. He had the 5 talents. You see talents, then marked talents. I had 2 talents, and I just had Farrakhan as a talent himself, which was incorrect. But I put it like that because you can make that mistake. But if you read the whole thing, right, you got to put all the pieces together. Because if you go with this interpretation, right, then it looks like it's in everything right, but you don't make a connection between Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. So you don't have it right. Because you didn't put, it looks like it might be right, because everybody accepted it and no one rejected it, right? I guess maybe say, come me mustn't know what he's talking about. But the purpose of this was to address that question. So if you can do this, you can say, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But then you have wrong analysis. Remember, once you put it together, first you put the picture together, then you have to do your analysis. Your analysis would have been incorrect. Let's move on. See? Because then it says, well, and right, and said, well, he would have 5 talents. That's the one who's given 5 talents. Before he's the one who gave 5 talents, right? And Elijah, he was given 2 talents, right? Then Farrakhan is 1 talent, and he's the talent himself. Now you can make that interpretation, it's wrong, but it kind of like fits, right? And like I said, you would have no connection between him and the Nation of Islam at that point. So something would be wrong. Your analysis would be wrong. Then you have to kind of reach outside and say, yeah, well, he's one, and so he must be in charge of the Nation of Islam, but that's not what this is saying. That's something you have to reach outside to get. Okay? And so then I, at the end, right? And I'm saying, well, let me move on here. I don't know what's going on here. Then the next one. I came out with the next one. Updates his first one, right? Okay. That's what I was saying here. Okay. Now saying he had 5 talents again, right? Master Muhammad had 5 talents. Elijah has. Then I show here, see, I broke this down because here it is. He has 2 of Farad's talents. He's under Farad, right? And Farrakhan was under Elijah. So he would have 1 talent. Now he's not the talent, he has a talent, and now he's connected with the Nation of Islam. Because that's exactly what happened. Farad is under, then see you got Elijah, he's under Farad, right? Because he got the 2 talents from under him, right? And Farrakhan or Aaron was under Elijah, so he's got the 1 talent. And that gets back to the thing about Elias. He wanted the 2 talents, but he couldn't get both of them. He wanted double spirits, because those are also spirits, right? He only get them. But see, that's more correct. And then you go, oh wow, that's it. Now you do the analysis, and you see, oh, his talent was the Nation of Islam. Then that identifies who's in charge of the Nation of Islam. Be Farrakhan. You see, so that identifies him as the person who only had 1 talent, the one that got in trouble. See, so I went there, right? Okay, so that made more sense. And they did the analysis, and that fit more sense. That kind of, bam. Because first I asked a question, then I showed this, right? And then, right, then I'm showing, right, where, remember, he says he went, invested 5 talents here, and he got 5 more talents. So here's the other 5 here. See, that's the 5. This is when the ark, the New Jerusalem, so to speak, right? So now that's the other five he had. But still some kind of wrong with that too. See, let's move on. And then it says he went, and verse he's saying he got the two, that's the new ark that fits. That fits exactly with the new ark situation. But what's missing here? See, well, it only shows he only got two here. It don't show he's got four. He's supposed to have four now. He's supposed to have four now, right? He's got only five here. He's supposed to have 10. See, you missed that one. I said five more, but he don't really have four more. He has five different ones. He doesn't really have five more. He don't have what happened to the other ones. So he only got 5 talents. He still only have 5 talents. It's different ones, but he still only got 5. These different ones, but it still only had 5. But see, that's why you missed that point. So it looks good, but it's still wrong. See, it looks good, but it's still wrong. See, and then here's Farrakhan, right? He buried his. See, because if you look at Angel Key, right, when he's in this position, and it's down here, right? So that's what this means by his buried, right? And then he was taken from him and given over here. So now he says, okay, now this one would have 10 talents. See, but you got 3, 6, 8. That's what you're supposed to have 10, right? So then I went and says, oh, no. You got to add the other 2. See? Now you got 10. See? Because you got to have those, because that's part of it. That's the New Jerusalem. 8, 9, 10. I got 10 talents. It says, now it adds up. Now he's got 10. See? And you see Farrakhan, right? You see where down here the saint, right? Down the bottom down here, if you can see that, right? Because that's the way it is in your key when you had the fallen away, right? He's down. That's what it means. It buried it. So yeah, okay, I got it right now. So now I can do my analysis. Wrong. It's still wrong. See, because you got to pay close attention. At all your addition subtractions got to come out to 10. You got to add it all up together, right? So why is it still wrong? Can anybody tell me at this point why it's still wrong? Before I go on, that was the question. How do you know when you got it right? How do you know when you got it right? When all the pieces fit. Because look, it looks perfectly right there. So now we're going to go to the last stage. Here we go again, right? Same thing. Here's Fraud. He's got the 5 talents. Here's, well, let's back up before I do that. Back up for this. Because one question I'll show you here, how you can make a mistake in your analysis. Because right here, right? If he's got 10 now, right? Then who is the one that, just like a man went on a journey, he called his slaves. That means whoever this person is, he's outside all of this. He's the one, right, that they're all slaves to him. So that means that would be Suleiman, because he's to be the son right there, right? So that would make Farah a slave to him. He'd be that's it. Now, so you'd have to come up with, right? You say, okay, well, Suleiman would be there between the 2 tiles on the top here. He'd be right here, right? So he must be the one that's on the journey. He must be the one, right? Because he's outside of all this. So he must be the one, right, that controlled all this. So that's an analogy. So he would be the supreme being. And in other words, Farah would be his slave. That's what analysis you have to come up with. See? Because you do your analysis will come up wrong. Because that's it. Well, that must be the case. But that's not what the scriptures tell us. It says Suleiman's the son, that he gets control of everything and he gives it back to the father. So you got to put that part in there also. Gotta get that part straight. That's what I'm saying. You have to go. So now this is going to be the final one. Okay, now we're here again, right? We got fraud. He's got his 5 talents. Elijah, right? He's got his 2. And Farrakhan, he's got his 1, right? Here you got the elect, and you got Suleiman up here, right? Okay, let's what's going on with this. Now, see, now he took and invested. Now he would have 10 talents. Remember, he went from 5 to 10 because he doubled it. Here it is right here. Suleiman is one of his talents because now he has 10 here, 8 plus this one and that one. So now he's still a god, and Suleiman is one of his talents. You see? He said, what happened to the Nation of Islam? I thought it was one of them. See? Because you went outside and grabbed something that wasn't part of this. See, look, watch this now. Watch this. Now he got Elijah, right? Right? See, because here, remember, okay, let's back up here. He's got 8. Here's 2 of his talents right here. Remember, this is the ark, right? This is 2 of his talents right here. See, so all this makes up 10 altogether. Okay? So we go next. And 2 of these, that's also Elijah. So he went from 2 to 4. He doubled. He went to 2 to 4. He's got 4 in this new Jerusalem, new ark, right? He's got 4. See? Okay. That's the correct way. Then you got Farrakhan here, right? Remember, he didn't do anything. He buried his. So it's take from him and give it to him. So at the end, he doesn't have 10. He has 11. Because he said, give it to the one that has 10. See, you got to pay attention to every word. Now you have 11. See, give it to the one that had 10. So if you give him one, that means you make him have 11 now. Right? So it's take from him and give it to him for a fraud. So now he has 11. Add them up. Now you got it right. And he's the one that the Suleiman gives everything back to us. He's the God. At the end, he gives it. Remember, he saints of days, he gives it back to him. It says he would put everything under his feet, and then he would turn the kingdom, everything back over to his father, David. There you go. Now you know you got it right. Because add everything they say and everything. See, because before you was getting it because you didn't add up everything. It looked good, but you didn't consider all the elements. You didn't put all the pieces of the picture. Because we know this structure right here. And so you feel, because you at some point you realize, hey, I'm talking about this structure right here. So then you got to put all the pieces together. You got to get the intricate, you got to find out what construct you're talking about. In this particular case, you're talking about the New Jerusalem, which you're familiar with. So then you put all the pieces together, then you know you have it. Now you can take and do your analysis. See? Who is the father? David. Who is the son? Right? He's one of the talents, so he's then Suleiman is the son. He's the one to give everything back over to the father at the end. You understand, brothers and sisters? So I hope I didn't discourage any of you, but I did this purposely because that question was asked, and I went through a process to show you that you can be deceived if you don't pay attention, and that's because the whole idea is, how do you know when you got it right? Now you know you got it right because all the pieces fit, and that comes down to New Jerusalem that all of you that study the Injil should be familiar with, right? Because this town right here, the brown one, that's the waters. That's the Nation of Islam. This is the African, this is the Levites right here. This is the Sunni, the Shia, right? This is the elect. This is Suleiman. That's the God. He's the high priest. He's the one that gives the light, but he's the one that brings it, he's the one that does the be, he's the one that it is. He's a technician. See, these up top right here, they're the spatial. These are technicians here, right? You understand? Okay, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I purposely did this to answer that question because that's a very good question. It's a powerful question that you just can't rinky dink just pick up something and think and run with it because you can't. You have to make sure all the pieces together. Look at all the pieces, put it together because you know the angel key. This is part of the angel key. Remember, this is New Jerusalem at the end. When you go through the process, you end up with this particular construct. So therefore, they're talking about this. So therefore, you got to make sure all the pieces fit there. See, at some point in time, you realize this is the construct he talked about. But because you putting together, say, well, he had this, right? Well, at what point in time did he have two, but now you got four? I mean, that means you got to add more to it. So, I mean, how do at some point, because in your process, you're trying to figure out what construct of the key, because that's part of the process too. The key has many different constructs. Sometimes the original nation at the top, sometimes the African nation at the top, right? Sometimes you get this at the end when when we return home. This is a construct. This is the ark. So what construct are they talking about? See, and then once you figure out the construct, how you put all the pieces together, put everything together because everything is there exactly like it says. You'd have 11, 10, 11, right? Farrakhan would be gone, right? He was thrown out, right? The demons would be gone, right? Elijah would have 4 now. See, Suleiman would have given the kingdom back to his father. All fits right in there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? That was the purpose of me going through this process, to get you to understand this. Because that was a powerful question. That was a very good question. The person she asked me that question, and that was a very good question. So now, rather than just saying, give an answer, I think go through the process to get you to see that you can get it wrong if you don't put all the pieces together. It looks right, and like we were saying, it made some sense, but it wasn't correct. And you get the bad analysis because one of them looks correct, but then when you would think about it, you say, well, wait a minute, what? That means Suleiman is the God there. It means Farad is his servant, but that would be wrong. But here now you see it's not that case once you put it all together correctly. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Okay, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. This was not to confuse anybody. That was just to answer that question. That's a very powerful question, very good question. So now I hope you have an answer. Just think about it. So you have two situations. You got this angel warriors that goes out, they do the manufacturing, take it, put the swords together. Some can put the swords together. That's what I do. I build the swords for you, right? I break this down, show you what with these videos and everything, show what this stuff means. That's best building the sword for you. See? And some people they use the swords. Hey man, okay, I understand how this works, and I can explain this to the person. I know how Adam and Eve works, right? Because somebody gave me the sword. I know how the talents work. Somebody gave me the sword. I know how the demons work. Somebody gave me the sword. So I wield that sword. Man, I'm a master at wielding that sword. There's some people on that level. See? Some people can do both. So if you can't manufacture a sword, be a master at using the sword. See? All of it's helpful. Just go out and slay demons, right? Or manufacture swords that use to slay demons, or do both, manufacture sword and slay them. Right? God, slaying demons. See, slaying demons when you're using the sword. See, so if you can go in and understand the angel, start breaking it down, then you manufacture the swords. See, but if you want a person, hey, want somebody to break it down, you know how to go and explain it to people and use it, right? To get the information out there, then you master using the sword. See, whatever level, brothers, sisters, sometimes you have to go out there and wield a sword before you understand how the sword works, before you go in and start making swords. See, I'm giving you information, I'm giving you swords. I'm manufacturing for you. I'm also using them. See, if you come to that level, then you become a master. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Assalamu alaikum.